Hey guys, how are you? So it's Wednesday, and I'm going to be coming on and doing an Ask a Nurse Practitioner live in a few hours. But I wanted to come on, and I'm trying to use my headset to improve the audio. So comment in the comments below and let me know how the audio sounds, if it's clear and less broken, less background noise. But the reason why I'm coming on today is because I've been doing a lot of reflecting, lots of thinking, lots of introspection about, this current state that we are in right now. It's really unbelievable, really, to think that the entire world is experiencing the exact same thing. And, there's not a single soul on this planet that isn't being affected or touched by what's going on in the world right now with COVID. It's big, right? I see some people coming on. Ginny, Lydia, Angela, thanks for joining. Just let me know if you can hear the audio. I'm using my my headset instead of just doing the audio randomly. Just hopefully that the audio quality will be a little bit better. So just let me know in the comments below if you can hear me. Oh, perfect. Thanks, Angela. So what I want to come on and talk about is I want to just share the reflection that I've been under over the last 2 weeks. And I think that this is a time where we can really dive deep into further evolution or further unmasking, right, and evolving. This is an opportunity that we can really take and grow from. And, when things really started to change early last week, I was at my counselor's office, and I see a counselor regularly because I think it's a great way for me to continue to work on myself. And so I'm really open with sharing that, whether I'm in crisis or not. I think it's a great opportunity for me to be able to be challenged, to be a better human. And so, in that session, we were talking about, what was I feeling at that time about this major shift in having my daughter at home, potentially big changes for my business, having, and at that point, 2 weeks ago, we had no idea, really. And so it was funny because as I sat in that chair, I said, I know what my strengths and weaknesses are. And I think some of you that are watching this have done my program. And one of the first things that I ask you to do is write down your strengths and weaknesses, because when we know what our strengths and weaknesses are, we know where there are opportunities for learning and for growth. It doesn't mean that every single weakness that we have, we're going to put a lot of focus in. We're just, we're going to make sure that we're guiding ourselves to use most of our strengths, right? And so, when I sat there, I said, for me, the biggest challenge with this is letting go, right? For many of you, I've said many times that I'm a perfectionist and I'm a control freak. But I thrive under chaos. So, I feel very calm in this situation with the uncertainty from a medical point of view, because I think as a healthcare provider, I've learned in a multitude of different ways of being thrown into potentially dangerous, harmful, shocking medical situations and know that I can thrive under pressure. not just because I know that I know the answers, it's because I know where to get the answers. I know where to get the support, the resources, and the help. And so from that point of view, I'm not scared. This is going to be a scary time for all of us. And I recognize that. So when I think about, what am I meant to learn during this time? I've been reflecting a lot on that. And for me, it's really about learning to let go even further. And I said this on the Q&A, the Oracle card reading, about how I really believe that all of us, with the collective humanity is learning, is to increase our divine feminine energy, right? And so, and what do I mean by that is that we have to be more flexible. We need to be more, creative. We need to listen to our intuition. We need to go with the flow, right? We need to let go of control. We need to let go of perfectionism and really just live in the moment, and work on gratitude and work on breathing and being still and not focusing so much on our worth as productivity, right? So that divine masculine energy is very much about productivity. It's very much about being in control, making decisions, being proficient. And in this time of uncertainty, we can't. I mean, things are changing daily. We're in a time of uncertainty, and being in a time of uncertainty, that brings and triggers a lot of anxiety for a lot of people. And so, with the new moon last night, I was really thinking about, what is it in this moment? What is COVID-19 going to teach me? Because this is a checkpoint. This is a checkpoint for all of us. And it's, as I reflected, I kind of chuckled and was like, because I know what I'm being asked to do. And it was interesting because I'm doing some networking with a woman who's an intuitive, who's a medium, but she's also a psychologist. And so she uses her intuition and her mediumship to help accelerate her ability to help people during counseling, which is quite a gift. And so I had a session with her yesterday, an intuitive session. And so she was able to contact my guides. And it was interesting what came out. And so, I know that for one thing, for me right now, the control piece is really about, how do I continue to be working on my business and home learning my daughter? I hate to use homeschooling because I am not a teacher. Nor would I do justice as a teacher, because I am not. So I'm doing my best to help my daughter learn in a home environment while this is going on. My husband's working from home from our kitchen table. And I'm trying to plan all of this. I'm the one that does all the food shopping and organizing, because we're trying to, we're not really leaving the house except for some walks and a little bit of exercise and playing in the yard. And so I'm the headquarters. I'm the glue. I've always been the glue that keeps my family together, right? But it's interesting, right? Because the control piece is interesting with children, right? Because children do whatever the hell they want, right? I might want to have this really great lesson in my head about writing or science or whatever, but Molly really is going to guide me, and I need to be flexible. So, it's really teaching me that, if she wants to do ballet first, let's do ballet first. And we'll get to the reading and the spelling and the math and that yada, 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 right? And so it's been interesting, right? Because and the guides that, and the intuitive, the lessons that I learned from this woman who reassured me is that right now for me, it's about the challenges, me surrendering to Molly so that Molly can be my teacher. For me to get silly, get goofy, get fun. These are not things that come naturally to me. I am a thinker. I am serious. Yes, I crack jokes and I can be funny in a very work-related, controlled environment. But, growing up, hey Jen, I didn't really have a childhood. I don't remember playing. I don't remember, I started working full time for my parents at a hotel, washing dishes when I was 10 years old. I had a paper route prior to that. I was very, very old soul, was always very serious. And I remember giving up birthday parties very young. I think I was 7 or 8. I never went trick-or-treating after that age. And so I understand where that comes from. And so the lesson for me right now is that I need to learn to loosen up a bit, to be much more flexible, to let go of perfectionism, get messy, get goofy, have fun. I think, what my strength is that I do trust in the universe. I do trust that there's a lesson here for all of us, and that we're going to get through it. It's going to be messy. It's going to be painful. It's going to be hard, but we're going to get through it. And it's funny because when I think about getting goofy and playful with my daughter, that fucking terrifies me. It terrifies me. It almost brings me to tears, to be honest. I'm the type of parent who is, and I've said this to you before, and I'm ashamed to say this, but I'm not great at connecting. I'd rather clean, I'd rather cook, I'd rather organize, I'd rather pay the bills, I'd rather do all of those things than sit on the floor and play Barbies. It's a pretty shitty thing to say out loud, really, to be honest. And so now, I'm forced to see her and interact with her and help her learn. And I need to be flexible because fighting with her and being, strict about the way that I want things done is not going to foster her learning. And so learning to be flexible and go with the flow and look for those opportunities where I can teach her things in the way that she wants to learn, versus me being very strict and checking off the boxes, right? Because that's what a good parent would do. It's really interesting. So, Steph Carter's saying, I love how honest you are. My struggle is finding time for all three of them. Yeah, wanting me out once. Yeah, I can't even imagine, I've always professed that I am a better working parent than I was ever a stay-at-home parent. The first year of my daughter's life was, I thought I was prepared to be a parent. I was 34 when I had Molly. And she came into this world and rocked my world in a way that I never expected. And that year was so hard, and I don't even remember it, nor do I appreciate it, to be honest. I hated it. I resented it. And part of me thought, it'll be okay with the second one. I'll just deal with this, and this, being I don't like doing anything that I'm not good at, right? And so I don't try new things unless I know I'm going to be perfect at them, which is really interesting. And so that's the other lesson, right? Is homeschooling or home learning is the way that I'm saying it is very new, right? And I don't know what the parameters, and I don't know if I'm doing a good job or not. And so, that brings a lot of anxiety. And as a parent, I think, we don't know what the fuck we're doing, right? We're just trying to survive, I am not a perfect parent. I lose my shit. I am the parent that's like, don't splash in the puddles, you're gonna get wet. Please don't do that. It's making the house dirty. Please don't. That, like, honestly. Or no, not right now. We'll do it later. And so my challenge right now is to connect with my daughter and for her to be my teacher, and to surrender to her and to learn how to be goofy and fun and let go of perfectionism and get messy and so letting go of the control of my house is not going to be clean and organized the way that I want, especially with 3 of us in the house all day long, and that I just don't have the energy to be able to keep it to that level the way I want. Giving up control with my business, that I need to step away from putting the amount of hours into my business. And that's hard, right? Because that's my baby and I've been working really hard on it. And, I want to be doing that. It lights me up, but I have to also, realize that my daughter needs me right now. And that is the most important thing for me to do, for my inner learning, so that I have the next chapter to be able to provide for you guys, right? The guides are saying that this is really important for me to do because it's going to give me a different outlook. It's going to give me a different way to teach. It's going to give me a different perspective. And so when I'm saying to you that we need to balance our feminine and masculine energies, and intellectually I can say that to you, but deep down in my heart, I don't know how to do it. And so this is what I'm learning, and I'm terrified. So today, what I've done with Molly is I've said to her, Mommy needs to learn how to play. I need to, Mom's not good at that. And she's like, no, you're not good at that. Mom's too serious, eh? Yeah. So we're doing a 30-day video challenge, actually. And Molly's going to teach me every day something to do fun. And I'm going to post that video so you can see it. So today, Molly, we had a dance off outside on our street. And literally, I felt like I was going to pass out. To dance in the street in front of a whole bunch of people, although there was no one out there because, but still, to feel that vulnerable, to videotape that, freaking scary, right? It's funny what scares you, right? And that's what scares me. Like when I think about my biggest fear, it's like playing Barbies with my daughter. Like, isn't that crazy? I'll restart your heart, but I'm scared to like play Barbies with my daughter. Yeah. So those are, so I ask you to reflect on what your strengths and weaknesses are. And I ask you to think about what it is you are meant to learn during this time, because we have an opportunity of a great expansion and growth, right? With the new moon of last night, the new moon was in Aries. Aries is an incredibly powerful sign in the astrological signs. It really is like almost gives you a do-over on your New Year's thoughts. With a new moon, it's a time to let go. Yesterday evening was incredibly emotional for me. Part of it is because I'm absorbing a lot of the fear in the world right now. And so it's really hard to cleanse that energy. I'm doing a lot of sea salt baths. I'm smudging. I'm grounding. I'm, trying to move my body, get out into nature, doing everything that I know to do. And it's hard to keep up with it. And so it's overwhelming. And it's not mine. So yeah, I encourage you to look, because we do have this incredible opportunity, because, really, this is asking the world to slow down. I've talked about this before in that our life ebbs and flows with the seasons, right? In winter, we're meant to kind of hibernate a bit. And it's interesting, I think in lots of parts of, in, you know, central Canada, we got snow, right? So last night or the night before, we got a big dumping of snow. And snow always reminds me of quietening down the world. And I'm always so appreciative for snow because I always find that the world gets a bit quiet. It insulates us. It slows us down a bit, right? Because it's harder to get out the door because we have 17 layers of clothes on. It's harder to get to wherever we're going because we have to brush off our car and the traffic is slower and yada 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 yada. And yeah, we need to ebb and flow at this time, and even in spring is still a very slow time. When we think about planting seeds for our crops, that takes time, right? How long are those seeds percolating under the soil before they start sprouting? A long time. I was reading something about like the bamboo story, and the bamboo story is that, bamboo grows underneath the earth for 5 to 7 years before it actually sprouts through. And we forget about, and if we equate that to success, we forget about all that hard work under the surface that we do. And that can take a really long time before we evolve, right? And so, so this is a time to adjust to a new normal. It's about reviewing what your strengths and weaknesses are and play to them, play to those strengths, right? It's about reviewing with this new normal, what do you want your ideal life or family dynamic to look like, right? Because we do have choice. We can live in chaos, and let it control us, or we can acknowledge its existence and take control and use it as a motivating factor to help propel us forward. So, for me, that greatest lesson is getting goofy, relaxing a bit, surrendering to Molly and allowing Molly to be my teacher. So follow me on this 30-day challenge of Molly teaching me how to be a little bit more lighthearted, more childlike, more fun, less serious. And I'm going to be posting those videos here. Molly and I are also starting a YouTube video called Homeschool Shenanigans with Molly and Shasta, and we did 3 science experiments today. So we'll be posting those. So what do you need to learn out of this this time? And like I said, we can let the chaos drive us into craziness, or we can use this as an opportunity to learn and evolve and use it as a motivating factor. So I'm just going to go through some of the comments here. Jennifer Berger saying it's hard to loosen up when you're used to being the one who keeps it all together. Yeah, definitely. Our kids teach us it's okay to have fun, and maybe some things don't get done, and that's okay. Yeah, you've worked on that one. Yeah, exactly. And Karen, I know so many mistakes I made as a mom that I thought were mistakes. Mine are all grown up, and I know we did okay. Yeah. Ask her what she wants from you. You will be surprised. Kids are amazing. And Jennifer saying, tricky to find the balance between family and our professional goals and outcomes. Both fulfill us in completely different ways. Yeah, exactly. I know my adult kids, Karen saying, I know my adult kids have this, but a bit of fear driven. Need to connect constantly. I might drive them crazy. I don't think you'll drive them crazy. I think they'll definitely be appreciative of it. All while they try to manage their own new normals. They're little and big ones. Sorry, kids. Yeah. And then, yeah, Lori's saying it's tough. No one ever mothered me or played with me. Found it hard to play with my kids. Yeah, I think, yeah, it's really interesting. And it's interesting because I've been given this challenge in my life a few times, to be honest. The first time was when we moved to Europe and I was, single parenting, like not single parenting. I was home with Molly for the first few months that we were in a new country and we were trying to, figure it out. And then Molly started school and, so it's really interesting. And then the second time was when we moved back to Canada. And so it was just Molly and I for the first 4 or 5 months before Jacob got here. And so I was single parenting. And so really this is a time of, me connecting to her, and this is going to keep coming up in my life if I don't figure this out. And it's interesting, I chuckle at the universe because I'm a slow learner. And the universe has kicked me down in big ways. Because, sometimes I don't want to, learn the lessons. And so, yeah, so that's what my lesson is right now, is really about connecting with Molly, using her as my teacher and my guide right now, and getting fun, and getting goofy and relaxing, releasing control and perfectionism, which is, is the next step for me. Certainly I've done a lot of work on that, but I have more work to go. And the reality is, when we evolve, it's kind of like a spiral, right? We just hit the tip of the iceberg and then it comes back around and we have to do more work on it. It's not that we didn't do the work well. It's because there's a new aspect that we need to look at. We need to look at it differently and learn a different lesson. And that's what's important. So that's where I'm at. That's my challenge right now. And so, I'm going to keep posting online and I'm going to be doing my lives, but that really hardcore part of my business that I've been investing in is just going to have to go on the back burner for now, because that's not the priority. There's some major lessons that I need to learn in order for me to evolve myself, for me to evolve my business, for me to evolve my relationships. And Molly driver's seat. So it should be a wild ride. So, stay tuned for some of our videos. I will post our Facebook or our YouTube video link for our homeschooling videos, because they're pretty funny. And so that's all I want to talk about. I hope you are all doing well. I'd love to hear about whether you want to private message me or put in the comments below what this opportunity is giving you to learn. What are your lessons? Have you had time to reflect, right? Because it's a great opportunity to reflect on how you want to use this as an opportunity to further evolve. Anyways, have a great night. I will see you on the live later, and talk to you soon. Bye.